about it earlier, but really what their mission statement is really remember the fallen. You know, honor those who have served and continue to serve, and really teach the next generation the value of freedom and what freedom means. Freedom's not free. There's often sacrifices, whether you see it or not. Volunteers are really the heartbeat of what makes this happen. So I know a lot of folks were here at 7 and some change this morning during the rain, you know, putting the boxes out and getting the stations and getting things set up. So a lot of behind the scenes action, and we appreciate that. So this really started back, a guy named Muriel Worcester really started this up with the company of Harrington in Maine, of all places where my brother-in-law is from. So I can't let him have any credit for this right here, but it was by a 12-year-old paper boy who had won a trip to capital of America down in DC, First Nations capital at the time, and it would change the trajectory of his life. Of what he'd seen at the Tomb of the Unknown Soldier, what he'd seen in Arlington National Cemetery. As he started plans of making, you know, an underway transport to get the wreaths down to Washington. You know, how he was going to do that. So, you know, a lot of things don't come together without a lot of great support with friends, family, and most of all, you know, our community here. So it took over a decade for that to happen. Now it's an annual tribute, a wreaths across America. So it's from coast to coast. I got classmates in Hawaii. They're doing this in a punch bowl today over in Honolulu from the World War II area as well. Unable to donate thousands, he looked for a way to start paying for this. And so he started sending wreaths to every state, about 7 at a time. One for each branch of service, as we've seen that today. And then also a way to pay tribute to the POWs and the MIAs. And since 2006, he's been well to get this well funded. So as I mentioned earlier, it's really about remembering, teaching, and honoring. And over 1 year later, he's got now over 300 locations that they hold these wreath laying ceremonies across there, including Puerto Rico and 24 overseas national cemeteries. I'm sure Japan's in there, and I'm sure in Europe, especially those around Normandy during the World War II eras. In 2020, Wreaths Across America and its national network of volunteers placed more than 2.7 million sponsored veterans wreaths on headstones our nation's service to nearly 3,702 participating locations. This was accomplished in support by nearly 5,000 people doing donations through groups, corporate contributions, and in-kind donations from the transportation. You know, it takes a lot of trucks to be able to pull this off, and we appreciate Ozark Border being a kind of a drop location for us this year. So this began more than 30 years ago, either on the second or third Saturday of every December. And what does it mean really to remember, honor, and teach? Well, we have Veterans Day in the fall, Memorial in the spring. Our servicemen and men service or sacrifice their time and safety every time they do something to preserve our freedom, including their family members. In Americans' homes every day, there's an empty seat for one who is serving or one who has made an ultimate sacrifice for our country and never came home. That is why Wreaths Across America mission statement is to remember, honor, and teach. Last all years long. It really starts every day. It's starting right now. All throughout the year, Wreaths Across America works days and numbers of ways to show our veterans and families that they will not forget. We will not forget. Read and see that there are many ways to remember and honor a veteran. To be killed in war is not the worst thing that can happen. To be lost is not the worst, but to be forgotten is the worst thing that can happen. And that was a quote up here at Clay Ason's from 1909 to 2003. So today, when we lay the wreath, as James mentioned, present the wreath, fluff it, take a second to read that soldier member's name and dates of duty. Perhaps their ranks in there, perhaps their duty assignment. Because today we encourage you to speak that and thank them for their service and they're satisfied. Because if it wasn't for them, we wouldn't enjoy the freedoms that we have today.